country in these parts. Welcome, everyone, to college football presented by Best Buy. Today, one team can clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship game with a win. The other can be eliminated from contention with a loss. It is Nebraska against the Aggies of Texas A&M. So glad you could join us, everyone. From College Station, Texas, I am Eric Collins alongside my partner, David Norrie. Stacey Dales will join us in just a couple of moments. Well, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they are all kinds of excited. The Cornhuskers, with a win today, they could clinch the Big 12 North and go to the Big 12 championship game for the first time since 1999. And David, a big reason why has been the play of their senior quarterback, Zac Taylor.
Yeah, I can't imagine a better quarterback to come into one of the toughest environments in college football than Zac Taylor. He's got a big task ahead today. A win gets them into the Big 12 title game. He has 20 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions, manages the game exceptionally well, takes care of the football. Zac Taylor is the key to this West Coast offense for Nebraska.
Well, the Texas A&M Aggies, they had a bit of a disappointment a week ago right here at Kyle Field. They lost a tough one against the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, Texas A&M, they still could possibly win the Big 12 South, but they need a win out and they need some help. Now, in Texas A&M, when they're going good, it's because of their running attack. It's a two-headed monster in Javorskie Lane and Mike Goodson.
Well, Stephen McGee's a great option quarterback, but when you talk about Javorskie Lane, he is one of the biggest, toughest short yardage runners in the country. Goes about 285 pounds. The J-Train, he really is a type of guy who can move the pile, who can soften the defense into the fourth quarter. And then you have Mike Goodson, a true freshman, a guy who a lot of people compare to Reggie Bush. He's that explosive. You get him out into space in the open field, he is very tough to bring down. I think he's one of the truly exciting young backs in college football.
Yeah, we are looking forward to a very good game this afternoon here in College Station, Texas. It is Senior Day, the final game of the year here at home for 13 Texas A&M seniors playing here in front of the 12th man one final time. It's Nebraska against Texas A&M coming your way. It is a game with so much on the line. A fantastic day for football here at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. Sellout crowd getting excited for the final home game of the year. Joining us now is Stacey Dales. She's down on the field. Stacey, what's going on?
Well, Eric, Nebraska comes into this game with an abundance of confidence, of moxie. I spoke with several players. Defensive end, Adam Carricker told me, we're on the brink of blowing teams out. We haven't slammed the door on anybody, but it's been the focus of our attitude all week. I also spoke with quarterback Zac Taylor. Zac said, hey, I haven't been more excited to play in a game in my entire life than this one on the road. Not only do we have a chance to clinch the Big 12 North, but we haven't beat a Big 12 South team this season. He topped that off by saying, we've got a lot of confidence. We're at an all-time high with our chemistry. If we take care of the football, we'll be in great shape, Eric.
Thank you so much, Stacey. Yeah, Zac Taylor, he is standing toe-to-toe with greatness. He's got a chance to pass big names like Vince Ferragamo and David Humm with good performances this afternoon. 64 degrees at kickoff. It was high 80s yesterday in these parts. Wind may be a factor, 10 miles per hour. We will let you know which direction it is blowing. Matt Zamansky will kick off. Marlon Lucky and Brandon Jackson both back deep. And here we go. Jackson has it at the 3. Starts right, is met and dropped at the 23-yard line. Flag is down on the first play of the game. Our referee today is Greg Burks. He will have the call for us.
Holding, number 6, on the return, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Zac Taylor is on the verge of breaking some long-standing Cornhusker passing records, and Maurice Purify is a big reason why.
Well, he's been going to Purify quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Purify has been the go-to receiver, and as Stacey Dales mentioned in her open, I really think the key to this football game for Nebraska is going to be taking care of the football. Zac Taylor's going to have to make good choices. The Huskers cannot turn the football over.
The I-back, Brandon Jackson with the carry. Picks up 4, maybe 5 on first down. Now let's take a look at our starting lineups presented by City. We start with Nebraska, where offensively they average 34 points per game. They've got talented skill position players, but the big difference this year, David, has been the offensive line.
Well, the offensive line has not only done a good job of protecting Zac Taylor, but they've really produced a running game that was missing in Bill Callahan's West Coast offense. There's a lot of spread offenses now in the Big 12, and you like to have an extra athlete out on the field with all the additional wide receivers that these spread offenses throw at you.
Taylor, right side. First down of the game for the Cornhuskers. Big gain on 3rd and 8. Pass complete to Purify.
Maurice Purify has become the go-to receiver for Zac Taylor. He's a big wide out, runs nice crisp routes, and he's a big target. Gets inside the cornerback, and Zac Taylor, as we'll see this afternoon, capable of making all the throws.
Gain of 20, which is par for the course with Purify. That's what he averages on his 25 catches so far this year. Jackson back in the game. His best gainer of the day. And he's out close to the 20-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. Pickup of 18 yards.
I think that Nebraska, they launched the tape from a week ago. The Sooners came out and pounded the ball at the Aggies. And you can't help but think that Bill Callahan used that tape, that game film, as a blueprint for what he wants to get done early in this football game.
Fullback in motion. That's Dane Todd. They fake the end around. They give it to Jackson, who picks up 5 tough yards down to the 20-yard line. Chris Harrington on the stop. We will see 4 different I-backs in the game today for Nebraska. We just saw Brandon Jackson leave the game. He's replaced by Marlon Lucky. There's a tight end, Josh Mueller, lining up in the backfield. Now he's joined by Lucky. And they give it to Lucky. And the sophomore has the first down and more down to the 12-yard line.
We talked about the 2 backs that A&M presents you, Javorskie Lane and Mike Goodson. Nebraska goes 4 deep. And as of late, Brandon Jackson, Marlon Lucky have been getting the brunt of the carries.
And a powerful short yardage back, Cody Glenn, in the game. But they're going to throw it. Back of the end zone, pass too high, incomplete, looking for Franz Hardy.
And you look at the numbers over the course of the year for Zac Taylor, and the first thing that pops out at you, 20 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions. And what that tells you is he really gets the concept that Bill Callahan's trying to teach in the West Coast offense. You want to frustrate defenses, keep the ball away from the defensive jerseys. And Zac Taylor, I think that's priority number 1 for him this afternoon. He's done a great job throughout the season.
This time they hand it up to Glenn, and he's in the end zone. Cody Glenn, his 7th touchdown of the season, and the Huskers jump out on top. So with their second possession, the Nebraska Cornhuskers cash in. They get 6. Riding the powerful legs of Cody Glenn, Jordan Congdon will come on now and try and make it a 7-0 game. Bad snap, good hold, and the kick goes through the uprights, and it is a 7-0 lead. The visitors from Lincoln, Nebraska, they've come down here and grabbed the early lead. It's been Cody Glenn getting across the goal line. Nebraska draws first blood. They're on top of Texas A&M 7-0. Cody Glenn, 7th touchdown of the season. capping an 11-play, 66-yard drive. Jake Wesh will kick it off. Back deep, that's Kerry Franks, who's a good one. Averaging 30 yards per return. And he's going to get an opportunity here. No, it's over his head and through the back of the end zone. McGee hands it off to Javorskie Lane, who is a hard man to bring down. He picks up 2 before Character jumps on his back.
And Javorskie Lane declined all media requests during the week. And there are a couple Texas A&M fans that were not real excited about Dennis Franchione and his election several times last week to kick short field goals against Oklahoma. But one guy that wasn't excited as well was Javorskie Lane, and you can't blame him. Coming into this game, Lane has picked up first downs on 24 of 27 third and fourth down chances.
This time they fake to Lane. McGee wants a bundle, has a man wide open. It's Franks. He's got the football and a huge gain for the Aggies. A pickup of 47 yards.
Well, this was a double move on the outside, and Franks is one of the true speed guys on the outside for Dennis Franchione. Watch the double move. And that was a pretty move that he threw on Andre Jones, the young cornerback. And if McGee hits him in stride there, he scores.
So the football all the way down to the 31-yard line. The Aggies in business, 5 wides. And the pass is complete. Pierre Brown with the catch, and Brown close to first down yards. Thank you. 2nd and 1. Good opportunity for the Aggies here to do some damage. Goodson with the carry. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Are you kidding me? How about that? Taking a punch and then giving it right back. The Aggies with an extra point of tying this game. I think they're liking the play call of Dennis Franchione this week. Lane Newman trying to tie it up at 7. Lefty kicker. No worries. So both teams dialing it up with their second possession with the football. Cody Glenn scored for Nebraska, and then Mike Goodson ripped up a 22-yard touchdown to tie the game.
Coordinator to look at.
Cornhuskers returning the football. Cruising down the left side. Marlon Lucky pushed out of bounds just across the 30-yard line, and a flag comes down late. Marlon Lucky had a good return. Let's see if it holds up.
It's going to be a late hit out of bounds against the Aggies. It might have been Nathan Hale, number 12.
Personal foul, number 15, A&M. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And they got the number wrong. That was Nathan Hale, number 12. Clearly out of bounds.
Hale is the official 12th man, the walk-on who is on the kickoff coverage team. Normally he wears number 17, but today he has the honor of wearing number 12.
Yeah, 12th man's been hurting A&M a bit over the last couple of weeks. Last week, Oklahoma goes for it on 4th down to put the game away. The Aggies got caught with 12 men on the field.
Cody Glenn still in the game. And Glenn, this time, carries it across the 50, gets out to the 47-yard line. Well, it took a while, but the Nebraska Cornhuskers this year, they've really figured out what Bill Callahan's trying to do offensively. He brings in his West Coast system that he used with the Oakland Raiders. And finally, after 3 years, everyone's clicking on the same page.
Well, and everybody tosses around the term West Coast offense. It's gotten to the point where people don't even really understand what the West Coast offense is, but a lot of people, when they hear that term, they think passing first. Couldn't be, more different. The running game is very important to this offensive scheme.
Pass is incomplete, looking for Purify. Good defensive play to knock it away. That's Jordan Peterson, redshirt freshman from Lexington, Texas.
Yeah, it was a nice break on the ball by Peterson. And, Eric, you talked about the West Coast offense, and the West Coast offense in its truest form based on short throws that are designed to get you yards on rundowns and make things easier for you on second and third down. But you got to hit those balls to keep this offense clicking.
Case in point, Nebraska, 14 rush plays, 4 passes so far in this game out of their West Coast offense. They're going to throw for it on 3rd and long, and they complete the pass. Todd Peterson, his first grab of the game, and a fresh set of downs for the Huskers.
Well, when we saw Bill Callahan back in 2002 with the Oakland Raiders take that team to Super Bowl 37, Rich Gannon was the quarterback. And Rich Gannon, whenever he threw the football, that ball would come out quickly, a quick release. And that's what impresses you about Zac Taylor once he gets set in the pocket. The ball comes out quickly, and he's able to get the ball out before the pass rush arrives.
On 1st down, Taylor's going to operate out of the shotgun. With time. Spins it out, pass complete. Inside the 5-yard line goes Nate Swift, the sophomore. Let's go down in the field, and Stacy. What's going on, Stacy?
Boy, Eric, I spoke to Zac Taylor about how tough it is to learn this West Coast offense. He said it was insane when he first got to Nebraska. It took him at least 6 months to get the hang of it. He didn't think he actually ever would get the hang of it. But the biggest challenge, David, and you'll know this, is just learning the terminology in huddles. He said he has to deliver about 2 to 3 sentences and look at each and every offensive player that has a specific route. So it's a lot more difficult than perhaps another offense, David.
Well, dead ball foul, number 26 of Nebraska. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Penalty came at the end of the play.
Yeah, and that was, that's not a very smart play, especially when you're in the red zone down inside the 10-yard line.
Swift led the team in catches a year ago. This year, not nearly as productive, but still highly thought of in Bill Callahan's offense. It's not 1st and goal, but the ball all the way back on the 20-yard line. Underneath a minute to play, 1st quarter. Taylor steps up in the pocket. Still on his feet, picks up a couple, and is dropped at the 18-yard line. Made the best of a bad situation there.
Well, and that's what you count on Zac Taylor to do. I mean, when you're coaching quarterbacks at any level, you don't want quarterbacks going backwards and taking big sacks when the pressure comes down in the pocket. You want those working back towards the line of scrimmage. Zac Taylor turns a negative play into a couple of yards.
Taylor has his man. It's complete to Purify, who dives to the 5-yard line, and that'll do it for quarter number 1 here at College Station, Texas.
That was a nice job by Purify to sit down in that little void in the zone and move the chains for the Huskers.
So both teams will have to march 95 yards the other way. Zac Taylor hopes to make the walk worthwhile. Nebraska and Texas A&M, they're deadlocked at 7, but the Cornhuskers knocking on the door. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Welcome back to college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on the Texas A&M Aggies in the final home game of the year at Kyle Field. And the Huskers knocking on the door. They've got the ball on the 5-yard line. Trying to punch it in for their 2nd touchdown in as many possessions. The give goes to Glenn, and the power back stays on his feet and gets in the end zone.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's fucking go!
He was dead to rights, and at the 3-yard line, he busted a tackle and scores his 2nd touchdown of the game. Dennis Franchione has seen enough of Cody Glenn. The power back comes in goal line situations and has done his job 2 consecutive times down the field for the Cornhuskers. Condon comes on for the extra point. Little punch shot through the uprights, and it's a 14-7 lead. The Cornhuskers, led by Cody Glenn, on top of the Aggies.
You talk about bringing a physical aspect to goal line running. Watch what Glenn does to Gore number 4. Just flat runs him over at the 3-yard line.
Nebraska so far today, oh my, they're winning the battle of time of possession and then some. And that's doing something. Texas A&M on the year as a team, they are second in the entire country in time of possession.
Well, the Aggies watched the Oklahoma Sooners last week come out and back up consecutive 80-yard drives to take a 14-3 lead in that football game. And Nebraska, and no secret early in this football game, coming out and again trying to test Texas A&M and their resolve against the run.
Kickoff into the wind. Goes into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Javorskie lane. Doesn't get the ball. It's faked to him, and instead Stephen McGee takes it himself and has a good gain on first down. Well, we talk so much, David, about Zac Taylor. They say the same things in these parts about Stephen McGee and what he brings to the table.
Well, McGee is stepping in for Reggie McNeil last November against Oklahoma. Really played 6 quarters down the stretch, including a pretty impressive effort against Texas, an upset bid against the eventual national champions. Impressed Dennis Franchione with his toughness and his ability to both run and pass from the quarterback position. This job has been his ever since.
Goodson with the ball, brought down for a loss. Steve Octavian busts into the backfield and makes the stop.
Well, this Husker defense has been tough against the run the last couple weeks. Breakdown late against Oklahoma State. 16-0 lead, evaporated against the Cowboys, but you look at the performances they've laid out on defense the last 2 or 3 weeks, and this defense continues to improve.
3rd down and 9. They need to cross the 30-yard line. McGee brought down for another loss. It's a sack in the backfield. Good defensive play. The Cornhuskers making it happen. 2 consecutive losses, that time Ola Doganduro with the sack.
Well, Stephen McGee, we talked about his ability to throw the ball from the pocket. Well, this is not an offense that's designed to pick up 3rd and long. And the Huskers, with the talent they line up, especially at the defensive end positions, you put yourselves in 3rd and long situations, McGee is going to be under distress.
Snap is high, but no rush. Short kick fielded at the 41-yard line. Grigsby with the football, and Grigsby nowhere to go. He's brought down. So the Nebraska Cornhuskers will take over. They'll have the football, and Zac Taylor will try and make it pay off once again. Last 2 times the Cornhuskers have had it, they've scored 7. Welcome back, everyone, to College Station, Texas. A little bit of pressure right now on Gary Darnell, now in his first year as the defensive coordinator for Texas A&M. Last 2 drives for Nebraska, they have really gashed that defense for A&M.
Well, similar to the first 2 drives for Oklahoma a week ago, they may have to get the safeties involved.
First down carry, Brandon Jackson picks up 5. Let's go back. 2nd down and 6. Fake to Lucky. Fake the end around. Taylor keeps it himself. A little bit of a stagger and gets out close to 1st down yards. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 1. And a flag flies deep in the backfield.
Yeah, this flag came in late. And Zac Taylor had a receiver running deep. It looked like Purify down the middle of the field on a post route. And that flag came well after the play was over.
There is no foul on the play.
Must have fallen out of a pocket.
And Zac Taylor trying to get people lined up. A big part of this West Coast offense is what goes on before the snap. The Huskers like to move players around, motion, formations, shifts. A lot of those components that we saw at the NFL level with Bill Callahan. And what you do there is you give a defense a lot to prepare for during the week, and then you test them to see if they can get lined up before the snap of the football.
3rd and 2, Taylor wants to throw out of the backfield, gets it to Lucky, makes a man miss, has the first down and more. Lucky with a chance, inside the 10, inside the 5. Oh, they trumped him on 3rd and 2, a pickup of 42.
Well, this is a beautiful ball from Zac Taylor. A lot of people say, hey, swing route, you should hit that, but he put the ball in the front pocket, gave Lucky a nice ball to take upfield, and how about the play by Lucky to make the defender miss on the perimeter? And pretty darn good blocking on the outside by the receivers. Looked like France Hardy, number 7, getting a nice block downfield. The Cornhuskers over the years, you know, Eric, they've always been known for perimeter blocking. You can't line up and play wide receiver at Nebraska unless you're able to block downfield.
You don't block, you don't play. So, ball's going to be on the 4-yard line. Should be an easy decision as what's going to happen here. They've got a power back in Cody Glenn. But Glenn's actually not in the game. It's actually Brandon Jackson in the backfield next to Taylor. Pitch and catch, touchdown! Peterson, 6 more for Nebraska. Three straight possessions have resulted in touchdowns against Dennis Franchione's bunch. Defensively, they're struggling right now. For Peterson, that's his 2nd touchdown grab of the year. For Zac Taylor, that's his 21st touchdown throw, and that is significant as he has just set a brand new Nebraska single-season record for touchdowns. He's got 21. It was set up by a fantastic catch and run by Marlon Lucky, and it pays off with a 4-yard touchdown to Todd Peterson. It's 21-7 Nebraska. There's a special pageantry and tradition that goes along with football here at Texas A&M. These are the guys who brought us the flyover before today's game. Just an extra special environment with this being the final home game of the year and it being Veterans Day. All right, 11 minutes remaining here in the first half. The kickoff into the end zone and out of the end zone. Texas A&M will take over at the 20, down 21-7.
Well, Zac Taylor has been on the money in the first half here for Nebraska. You couldn't ask him for better execution from the quarterback position. Sprint out to the right, and again, the ball comes out with great timing. And if you're going to play on the road, especially against this Texas A&M defensive outfit with the speed, with the 3 safeties, you got to throw the ball with timing, and Zac Taylor has been on the money.
The fourth cadet. The give goes to Lane, who butts heads. McGee actually keeps the football, and McGee tries the right side and picks up the first down. The deception got me.
Well, that's a big part of this offense. And defensive coordinators that line up against Texas A&M, they say this is an option team first. And that's just a design keep to McGee. About a 4.65 guy who can run the option. You know, he's more than an adequate thrower, but defenses really have to pay attention to his feet. He can hurt you with his legs.
Martellus Bennett, the tight end, winds up wide left. He's open in the flat. McGee doesn't see him. Now he does. Bennett with the catch, and he's brought down at the 40. Pickup of 5 on first down, and the clock continues to roll.
Well, Kevin Cosgrove, the defensive coordinator for Nebraska, I really like his game plan. He had his defense ready early in this football game to take on the challenge against Texas A&M, and his defenders are really rallying to the football, getting great play from his front four.
McGee again, perfect strike. Pass is complete to the tight end Bennett, who's knocked out of bounds, but not before he whacks Andrew Shanley. Clock stops, 1:05 remaining first half.
Now, Martellus Bennett, we talked about his special qualities, and he gets split out like a wide receiver, and he runs this route like a wide out. McGee finally gets time in the pocket, gets the protection to get set, and he delivers that ball in good shape outside.
Bennett now with 32 catches on the year, just a sophomore. Quick toss, complete. It's Schrader with the grab, close to another first down. They're going to say he's short, and the clock continues to move.
No huddle here for McGee. A nice ball on the slant, but plenty of time.
A&M does have 2 timeouts to work with. McGee right side, incomplete, looking for Taylor. Ball in and out of the mitts. That'll stop the clock and bring up a 3rd and 2.
Now Taylor's the top receiver, and he's working against Andre Jones, and he has to make this catch. That was a drop, and the ball's coming loose before the hit by Jones. Can't ask for a better throw from McGee on the slant route.
And now, with 2 timeouts remaining, McGee decides to burn one of them. It's a big 3rd down and 2. They need to make a good decision.
Well,
Lane Newman will attempt a 37-yarder. And he hooks it through. So the Aggies, they wanted 7. They have to settle for 3. And it's an 11-point Nebraska lead, 21-10. Well, Bill Callahan in his first trip to Kyle Field looking to get a win. His team looking good. They're up by 11. We'll be joining John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie in our New York studio right after this. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC. Welcome back to College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. The Texas A&M Aggies, they have been staggered. A little weak at the knees right now. The Nebraska Cornhuskers on top of the Aggies by a score of 21-10 after 30 minutes of play. Alongside David Norrie, I'm Eric Collins. Well, this Nebraska Cornhusker offense, they came out firing on all cylinders. They look very good. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, right in the middle of the first half.
Well, the Huskers offensive line has been terrific. They've established a run threat. They've protected Zac Taylor well, and Zac has been very accurate. He's making great decisions. It promotes a real big problem for Texas A&M in the second half. You bring those safeties up, Zac Taylor is going to be able to make some plays down the football field. Right now, Nebraska has a great mix of run and pass working.
Yeah, in case you missed any of it, it was equal parts ground game and equal parts passing attack for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Through 30 minutes of play, it was a lot of good offense, at least for 3 consecutive possessions.
Yeah, getting a great combination of running from Lucky, Jackson, Glenn down on the goal line, and then Purify making a catch on the slant. Once again, Glenn, tough running down on the goal line. Peterson with a touchdown catch. And Dennis Franchione, a lot of problems on his mind right now. Problem number one, how do we slow down the Nebraska offense, and how do we slow down that big offensive line?
Offensively for Nebraska, 243 yards in the first 30 minutes of play. Not bad. Up, making the catch. Kerry Franks with the return. Tries the left side, gets out past the 25 to the 28-yard line. Let's go down on the field. And Stacey Dale. Stacey.
Well, guys, another question for Coach Francione is how do we score? And I asked him what adjustments do you make offensively. He said it's not so much adjustments, it's executing. We've had too many 3-and-out situations. We have to get our running backs involved more. But also, guys, look for Chad Schrader and Martellus Bennett to catch in the field in this half.
Thank you, Stacy. Yeah, it's getting to be difficult times right now for Stephen McGee and this Texas A&M offense. They were knocking at the door late in that first half, and they had to settle for a field goal. Pass a little bit short, intended for Chad Schrader. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. In the first 30 minutes of play, this is what it looked like in numerical form.
When you're having success on the ground and throwing the football, it's really tough to go wrong in your play selection. And we heard from Bill Callahan at halftime. You look at the third down conversions. Those have been a problem for Texas A&M, but when Stacey Dales visited with Bill Callahan before the half, Coach Callahan talked about that mix of run and pass and the success that the Huskers were having on offense.
McGee flips it out. Yeah, the catch is made. Martellus Bennett bobbled it for a moment and then corralled it before going out of bounds.
Well, the Aggies like to work off of their option game. They like to establish the run threat with their two talented tailbacks, but you get down 11 points in this game, and we talked about how important, Eric, this game is for Nebraska. This is very important for the Aggies in terms of getting into an impressive bowl game. And with that Texas game looming in 2 weeks, this game this afternoon becomes even more critical if you want to be playing after the new year.
Looking to convert their first third down. McGee flips it out, pass is complete. First down and more. Chris Alexander, the fullback, comes out of the backfield and makes his first grab of the game.
And so many defenses key on the tailback for Texas A&M when Texas gets in an I set. And that leaves Alexander, the fullback, as a viable weapon in the pass game. And that was not an easy throw by McGee. McGee had to throw that ball out to the wide side of the field, put it right on the numbers for Alexander.
Third down at 10. Delayed handoff to Goodson. The speedster knocked around, stays on his feet, breaks a tackle in open field. Can they catch him? Pushed out of bounds at the 10. A touchdown saving tackle by Bo Ruud, but not before a huge gain of 54 yards.
Well, Nebraska had Goodson dead to rights, stopped in front of the chains, and how about the effort in number 3? Might have hurt his thumb at the end of this play. And Bo Ruud just running him down inside the 10-yard line. He is truly one of the special gifted backs in college football.
Oh, tremendous move to get himself in the secondary.
The Aggies beat out the USC Trojans on him. Big-time recruit.
Javorskie Lane looking for something. After a gain of 1, he's dropped at the 10. Lance Brandenburg jumped on his back and brings him down.
Lane showing some of that frustration after the play. He has just not been able to get going, but here's the end of the play, and it looked like he hurt his thumb.
Oof.
Might have got it caught up on a cameraman there, but he was favoring one of his thumbs as he got up after the play. And one of the special things about this A&M offense is they can spread you out and throw it, but they can also line up in an I-back set and pound at you, and you wonder why they're going from the shotgun there, 3rd and 2.
Lane Newman attempts a 20-yarder. It's good. And it trims the lead to 8. That'll do it for quarter number 3. We're looking forward to a fantastic finish. The fourth quarter is just around the bend. Our presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station. all tied up at 7 after 1 quarter of play. Nebraska opened up a little bit with 14 points in the second quarter, but they were held to a goose egg in the third, and we have an 8-point game right now. The Cornhuskers trying to clinch the Big 12 North title and get to the Big 12 championship game December 2nd at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. But their offense has been stagnant in the second half. Cody Glenn with the carry, and Glenn picks up a hard 1 yard. Well, you saw the flyover earlier today, right before today's game, and this is the crew. We've made it to the stadium for the fourth quarter.
Well done, boys. Boy, that was something to see that pregame. Flying just over the rim of Kyle Field.
Taylor to throw. Looking for Marlon Lucky, and that pass is nowhere near. Well, David, something's going right for the Texas A&M defense. They were really gassed in the first half by Zac Taylor at Nebraska. But here in the second half, it's a totally different ballgame.
Well, we keep talking about and reflecting back on that Oklahoma game a week ago. After the Sooners scored twice on their opening 2 drives, you know, A&M got some safeties involved. They played with better spirit and intensity, only gave up 3 points the remainder of the game to the Sooners. And they're starting to buckle down here in the second half against this Cornhusker offense.
Taylor under pressure, throws it high and out of bounds. Looking for Maurice Purify. Nothing doing. So the punt team will have to come on after another 3 and out.
Yeah, Brock Newton. They call him the whip, but he's a glorified safety. He'll come from the left side of the screen, and that was a well-timed blitz. Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator, pushing all the right buttons here in the second half for A&M.
So that's now 5 consecutive fruitless possessions for Nebraska. Schrader calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 43.
You look at the drive chart for the Aggies. There's been a big problem offensively for Dennis Franchione, settling for field goals instead of touchdowns in the red zone. And that's been a problem the last couple weeks for the Aggies.
McGee keeps it, and he's wrapped up after a pickup of 1. Adam Carricker, talked about him all afternoon long, in on the stop.
You look at his frame, 6'6", 295 pounds. I think he's the best defensive end, the best pro prospect at defensive end for Nebraska since Grant Wistrom back in the late 90s. And you look at that, you know, the size and the range, a big long neck. And he's a terror against the run, has the ability to rush the passer. He's really the complete package when you talk about NFL prospects.
McGee gets it out, passes incomplete, looking for Schrader. Schrader dropped it before he could run with it. Thank you, Matt. That's just whetting our appetite for next week's game of the year. Ohio State and Michigan from the Horseshoe in Columbus. Third down, McGee keeps it with room in the open field. 1 man to beat. McGee, touchdown!
Texas A&M. A 57-yard touchdown run by number 7, Stephen McGee.
57 yards for the sophomore. And now Texas A&M knocking on the door They're going to go for 2 and try and tie up Bill Callahan's bunt.
Now, we talked about being option sound against Texas A&M. Nobody takes the quarterback. You cannot forget about the quarterback, and McGee does a terrific job. Let's see if he stays in bounds here. Oh yeah, he got the ball inside the pylon, and Nebraska neglected the quarterback.
Tremendous athletic play. Now going for 2. McGee in trouble. Nowhere to run, and he's dropped. So the Aggies will have to settle for 6. Heck of an athletic play by Stephen McGee. Calls his own number, and number 7 comes up lucky. Now Stephen McGee, he's the hero right now as he brings Texas A&M within 2. A 57-yard touchdown run on an option play.
That was a long time coming. Not a lot of room for McGee throughout the course of this afternoon in the option game, but he finally sprung one.
Touchback, Nebraska will start on the 20. Time now for our Best Buy playbook. David, what do you have?
Well, we talk about being option sound defensively. Let's go ahead and run it here. And this is an option out of the shotgun formation. Keep on running. Go ahead and we'll take a couple extra yards here. And just freeze it right here. Look at the responsibilities. Everybody has a responsibility, but nobody takes the quarterback. That was an assignment breakdown. And McGee with the speed to exploit it.
So the Cornhuskers, their lead trimmed to just 2. They start on the ground at this possession, and Lucky barrels out to the 24-yard line. Mark Dodge on the tackle. In the first half, it was all Nebraska. 243 yards. They've mustered just 40 since intermission.
Well, and give Gary Darnell some credit, the defensive coordinator for Texas A&M.
Yeah, well, if anyone's getting tired, this 12th man is helping him out. Kyle Field is electric right now. Hand off, first man through. Lucky tripped up. It'll bring up a 3rd down and about 5, maybe 6. Pickup of 2. Melvin Bullitt shot the gap and knocked down Lucky.
Now the Aggies, we talked about the safeties getting up and getting involved against the run. They're taking some chances on the outside. Only a matter of time before Zac Taylor takes a shot down the field. Man-to-man coverage on the outside by these cornerbacks for the Aggies.
Taylor under pressure gets it off, incomplete. Again intended for Purify, and it's knocked away by Jordan Peterson.
Now this time the Aggies bring Brock Newton. The whip off the weak side. And how about Peterson man-to-man? Just draped on Purify. And Purify on the out route. You see Zac Taylor sitting in, taking the hit from Newton. But Purify, not a very good route, establishing a deep threat before he broke it off on the out cut.
Schrader back deep. He'll have room from the 15. And he's dropped. 42-yard punt, no return. Dane Todd on the stop. Well, when we come back, the super freshman, Mike Goodson, will get a chance to show what he's made out of. Goodson and the Aggies with the ball when we come back. Reveille on cue.
One of the more prominent short yardage goal line backs in the country, and what a change up these two backs give you. Goodson going to set up here in this 3rd down situation. Look like you're going to split him out in the slot.
McGee over the middle, man wide open. First down and more for Riley. Out across the 50. Big gain for the Aggies. Out across the 50, but concern in the backfield for Texas A&M as Stephen McGee is down.
And that was an impressive play by McGee as he looked to swing the ball out first to Goodson, and then he comes over the middle to Riley. Excellent throwing decision, and McGee showing the ability to come to second and third choices in his progression.
That is Corey Clark, who is down and in pain on the 12-yard line.
This is going to be a year where that second team that gets into the BCS final, the championship game, there's going to be a lot of arguing who deserves to be in that game.
The big fella, Javorskie Lane, looking for the home run ball, and it's caught by Schrader. .274 pounds of passing ability. Javorskie Lane with a 44-yard pass play to Chad Schrader.
Now Javorskie Lane, he's going to get outside and get the pitch. And it's a pretty nice throw by the big fella. First he's got to get that 285-pound set. And then what a play coming back to the football by Schrader. Secondary outran it.
First and goal. Let's see if they give it to the big fella to finish off this drive. First man through. Alexander, the fullback, down to the 1. Ball comes loose late, but they're going to say he's down.
Dennis Franchione making some decisions that weren't popular with this crowd in the third quarter. Punting the ball on 2 occasions inside Nebraska's 40-yard line. He had the patience and the confidence in his defense. Those decisions are starting to look a lot more solid here in the fourth quarter.
You figure they got to go to Lane here. They do, and the big fella with the touchdown, his 19th of the year. And A&M with their first lead of the game. So Javorskie Lane gives Dennis Franchione's bunch their first lead of the game. They're up by 4. And I think they're going to go for 2 now, David.
Well, I don't know if you go for 2 here. I'm not sure they're going to go for 2 here. There's no need to go for 2. You know, 7, and I don't know if they're chasing points from earlier in the football game, but 7:28 to go. You kick the extra point here and go up by 5 points. Going up by 6 points doesn't do anything for you.
McGee out of the gun, gets it off, complete. Martellus Bennett with the grab. May have been a dubious call, but at least they get it.
Well,
think of an extra deuce.
If you make it, you always like the extra point, but that's not the correct call when you look at points in the fourth quarter, when you go for 1, when you go for 2, because you don't pick up a lot going up by 6 as opposed to 5, and you always want to take the point when you can get it, unless there's a reason that you go for 2 points. I haven't seen that call in a long time, but you know, Dennis Franchione right now, seems like all the decisions he's making are really coming up roses.
A&M, their first 2 possessions of the second half, 2 punts. Last 3 possessions, a field goal and 2 touchdowns. They're on a 17-0 run to take a 6-point lead. Taylor again goes down. Hurd. No, it's Michael Bennett with the sack. These Aggie defenders, they're pinning their ears back right now and just attacking Taylor.
And this time the pressure came from a defensive end, and he's going to come clean on Zac Taylor. This pressure's coming from the front side. Usually a quarterback, especially a quarterback with the experience of a Taylor, you pick that up with your peripheral vision. Never saw number 11.
Plenty of time. Flag flies in the direction of holding. Taylor takes off and is crunched at the 45-yard line. This is going to be a big call. Cornhuskers do not want to move back another 10 yards.
That flag was dropped back in the area where the referee looking at a holding call.
Holding number 59 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
The center, Brett Byford, called for the hold.
Brett Byford, a guy who stepped in for Kurt Mann. Let's go ahead and freeze it right here. Helping out. Giving some help to Mike Huff, but stepped in for Mann after the first game of the season. Has played pretty well. Pretty tough call right there.
5 penalties now on Bill Callahan's team. 2nd and 26. Yikes. Taylor, intercepted! Mark Dodge with the football. Returns it all the way to the 29, and things are looking great for the Aggies. This place is going nuts. Bill Callahan, welcome to Kyle Field. The Aggies looking for more when we come back. Texas A&M on top of Nebraska by 6, 2:50 remaining.
And Zac Taylor looking at a 2nd and long. Let's go ahead and roll it. Linebackers are going to drop deep. They're going to drop deep out into the intermediate and deep routes. And go ahead and freeze it right there. There's Mark Dodge. And he's reading the eyes of Zac Taylor. Taylor trying to fit the dig route in, a deep square in. And what a story, Dodge. 25-year-old.
Mark Dodge served in the U.S. Army for 4 years after high school, and today, on Veterans Day, in front of the Corps of Cadets, all he's done, 15 tackles and an interception late here in the 4th quarter. How about that for Mark Dodge? Let's see if the Aggies offensively can make it worthwhile. Goodson can't stay in bounds. It'll stop the clock after a pickup of a couple.
And where was Mark Dodge? You know, well documented. 2001, 9/11, doing some paperwork at the Pentagon when one of the hijacked planes hit the Pentagon. A hero that day. Helped with the relief efforts and the rescue efforts. A big gaping hole in the side of the Pentagon, and he has become a football hero at Kyle Field.
Second and 8. Handoff to the up back. And Lane. Not much doing. He is brought down. All right. Timeout is called, and we'll take it with them. Going to bring up a 3rd down and about 6 when we come back. Nebraska needs a stop. A&M on top of Nebraska by 6. This lead was in jeopardy, but Mark Dodge just moments ago intercepts the ball from Zac Taylor and gives it back to Stephen McGee and A&M, trying to run this game out.
And Nebraska, 1 timeout left. A&M probably going to keep the ball on the ground here. Still not a lock. 6-point game. A&M trying to get into field goal position.
And McGee going the wrong way. Trying to get around the corner. He's brought down at the 24. Nebraska, they have a timeout to stop the clock, and they use it at the 2-minute mark.
Well, and that's the proper use of the timeouts here. There's going to be a 3rd down coming up. No timeouts left for the Huskers, but plenty of time. What it comes down to here is, can A&M either pick up a first down, or can they get a field goal attempt and make that field goal to make it a 2-score game? And the play calling here is going to be interesting. You put the ball up, you risk the turnover.
They are going to go for the field goal. Do you think this is a good call?
Well, I think it's a good call here because you don't gain much going for it. You know, going punting the ball away and you go for it on 4th down. I think it's, you have a better shot to hit this field goal. And keep in mind, the longest field goal for the Aggies, 39 yards. This would be a best on the season.
Newman's already made 2 so far today. This would be a 42-yarder. Blocked! Football is blocked. The Cornhuskers stay away from it, and they still have life. Well, that's what they needed, and the Cornhuskers are still in this game.
A 42-yarder. This is a distance, a very makeable distance in the college game. The Aggies not a lot of success throughout the season on field goals between 40 and 50 yards.
I think it was the big fella, Barry Turner, number 99, who got his mitt on it.
I think that was number 99. Getting the arm up. Actually, that was Zach Potter. That was Zach Potter, number 98.
All right, here we go. The senior, Zac Taylor, looking for something. Throws late and out of bounds. This is what is on the line. Nebraska, should they win this game, they will clinch the Big 12 North. And they'll go to the Big 12 championship game December 2nd. If they don't win, they still can win with a game, with a victory over Colorado in 2 weeks' time.
And a $1:43 on the clock, 2nd and 10. Zac Taylor has to realize there's plenty of time. The clock stops on first downs in college football. Even though you're working without timeouts, plenty of time on the clock.
Underneath pass is complete to Brandon Jackson. Jackson is dropped by Mark Dodge. Another tackle for Dodge.
Clock is running as a quarterback. Get your team up on the line of scrimmage, and you can't clock the ball here. You got to use this down to pick up yardage.
3rd down and 3. Quick pass is dropped again. The drop pass haunts Nebraska. Peterson can't hold on.
Peterson has had a nice night at wide receiver. He's made a lot of plays, but that was a big drop. And Zac Taylor put that ball right on the money. Peterson would have been able to move the chains, and the clock would have stopped.
All right, this is it. 4th and 3. Taylor, complete, finds his man Peterson, who atones for the drop of play earlier. Heck of a grab for Peterson.
And an even better throw by Zac Taylor. This is a game on the line right here. 4th down. Watch how he drops the ball out over the head of an underneath defender. I mean, that is a beautiful ball by Zac Taylor.
Pickup of 22, out across the 50 to the 45. Taylor, look out! Spits it out. Is it caught? Incomplete. Incomplete, looking for Terrence Nunn. He bobbled it and lost it out of bounds.
Well, the ball was delivered high, and again, Taylor on the move. That's a pretty solid throw right there. You got to make that play if you're Terrence Nunn. He gets up, he gets both hands on the football, and Nunn, the leading receiver for Nebraska this year. That's a ball that you got to have. You got to make that play for your senior quarterback. Still plenty of time.
Cornhuskers with no timeouts remaining.
And if you're Zac Taylor, you want to make sure do not take a sack.
Another completion to Peterson.
Taylor's pass is complete.
Oh, it's Dan Erickson with the catch, his first catch of the season.
Well, what you're seeing right here is at the college level, as long as you're calm, you don't take sacks, and you throw the ball beyond the first down chains, you have plenty of time. As long as you keep throwing the ball beyond the chains, only two things can happen. Incomplete and the clock stops. You complete the ball and the clock stops as well. So as long as Zac Taylor continues to make good throws and good decisions, he's got plenty of time.
Taylor has a man. Incomplete. Too high for none.
That's a smart play by Taylor. And one of the temptations you fight as a quarterback is trying to bite off a little too much on these clock drives. And granted, you have 45 seconds left, but you don't want to get greedy. You don't want to turn the ball over on a greedy throw.
Taylor lobs it. Complete. Peterson dropped at the 18. Clock will stop on the first down.
Now this is some impressive work by Nebraska up front. They're giving Zac Taylor time. They're allowing him room to the left and the right to move. And another great play by Peterson, not only to make the catch, but to turn it north and south and get the first down.
And now Taylor decides to just clock it and save some time.
And I don't like that call right there, because it doesn't take you any more time to come up to the line of scrimmage and use a code word for a play that gets you back and gets you to one of your favorite clock drive plays. So many clock drives at end of games, it turns out you go out on downs. You never want to waste downs there if you don't have to. And with 36 seconds on the clock, there was no need for Zac Taylor in Nebraska to waste a play by clocking the ball.
Taylor, pass again, not caught. Todd Peterson.
Now that's the risk you run. You know, you throw the ball to the turf to just catch your breath there. One incomplete pass later, you're looking at 3rd and 10, and that puts you behind the 8 ball. Zac Taylor's going to have to make a play here if Nebraska's going to keep this drive alive. 2 more shots here.
Taylor's thrown for 258 yards. To the end zone for Purify. Incomplete. Jordan Peterson has been dynamite all afternoon long. And it comes down to this for Nebraska. Oh, a flag comes down late.
Roughing the passer. Number 94 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
How does that happen?
Now this is a low percentage ball by Zac Taylor. Wow. Marcus Thornton arriving late, and not exactly a violent hit, but that was a hit where he could have peeled off and avoided contact. Not a smart play by Thornton, especially on a play where Zac Taylor threw a very low percentage ball on 3rd down. Would have forced a 4th and long. Nebraska can't afford to run the ball here. They're going to have to keep the ball in the air without timeouts.
Again to the end zone and Purify. Touchdown, Cornhuskers. Maurice Purify has had an absolutely terrible day. Drop passes the entire afternoon long, but when he's needed to make a play, he does. A tie game with the extra point pending. And a timeout is called by Texas A&M. They still have 2 remaining. They want to catch their breath before this extra point.
The Purify has become the go-to guy for Zac Taylor as of late, and he's going to run a fade route, but it's not going to be the customary fade against Peterson, the cornerback. This ball's going to be deliberately underthrown, and Zac Taylor's going to take advantage of his 6'4" frame. Purified 6'4", 210 pounds. Nice ball, nice ballistics. And that takes a lot of guts to underthrow a fade ball and have the confidence that Purify is going to go up and make the catch. Great play between quarterback and wide receiver, and how big was the roughing the quarterback call?
On the day when Zac Taylor sets the Nebraska record for touchdowns in a season and most passing yards in a career, he saves his best for last, a 9-yard touchdown catch, throwing catch to Maurice Purify.
Big extra point coming up here, and that's an understatement, but keep in mind 20 seconds left on the clock. Even if Nebraska converts on the point after touchdown, there's still time for A&M depending on what sort of return they can get and what Stephen McGee can put together in a play or two after the return.
Jordan Congdon to give Nebraska the lead. And he does. Now a sellout crowd here at Kyle Field. They're stunned, and with good reason. We saw no indication that Nebraska was capable of a drive like this, the way they've been stoned in the second half against A&M.
Well, they've been shut out, and they not only shut down the Nebraska run game, they're creating problems for Zac Taylor, sacks, pressure in the pocket, but championship teams put together drives with the game on the line. That fourth down throw was the most impressive throw of the night. The roughing the passer call on 3rd and 10 would have been a 4th and 10 that Zac Taylor and his offense would have been staring down. And then how about the fade route to Purify? That is a route the two athletes work on during the summer. And Purify, you watch him over the course of the last 2 or 3 games, Zac Taylor is really locked on to him. He's become the go-to guy, and Peterson made a couple big plays at the wideout position on that drive.
Dennis Franchione, he has never defeated Nebraska, Texas, or Oklahoma. Thought he had one here, but things aren't looking good with 20 ticks remaining.
Dennis Franchione wants to tell his return men here to get the ball north and south. Don't take a lot of time reversing field. You want to leave enough time for 2 or 3 plays. Stephen McGee coming out at quarterback.
We saw last week with Wisconsin, Brett Bielema, their head coach, deliberately went offside on kickoffs. Is this an option here?
It is an option, but also A&M has the option to decline.
They do not go offside, they just kick away. And here comes A&M. Kerry Franks is tripped up and downed at the 21-yard line.
That's another rule change where you really get hurt when toe meets leather. That's when the clock stopped. The rule change a year ago, that wasn't the case.
Today's Chevrolet players of the game are Zac Taylor of Nebraska and Mark Dodge, the veteran who performed so very well on Veterans Day for the Texas A&M Aggies. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
You know, I had a chance to talk to a couple of the coaches for Colorado when they put together the play at Michigan, Cordell Stewart to Michael Westbrook. You know, Colorado was facing a similar situation. They had about 10 or 11 seconds on the clock, and the thinking was here to get about a 20-25-yard ball on a crossing route close enough to midfield to stop the clock. Obviously, A&M has a timeout, and then they take a shot at a Hail Mary. And that's really what your thinking has to be here. You never concede a football game. You don't go with the Hail Mary on this play, but you try to pick up a big enough chunk of yardage that you can put the end zone into play with Stephen McGee's arm on the last play of the game.
Heck of a ball game for Zac Taylor.
Well, he made one of the most impressive throws we've seen all year long on the 4th down conversion on that last drive. What a play.
McGee swings it out to Goodson, the fastest Texas A&M Aggie with the football. And they call timeout. There's still 1 tick remaining on the stadium clock. And so this game is still going on. Still 1 second remaining on the stadium scoreboard.
Nebraska defenders feigning as if they're going to run off the field, but they're taking a look back to make sure here. I think they're going to leave a second on the clock, and if this game was being played in Lincoln, Nebraska, I'm not so sure that game clock wouldn't be reading zeros right now. And Goodson, you can't blame him with his game-breaking ability to try to make something here, but when he realizes he's hemmed in, you got to go down. And that's the right, that's the right move by the officials and the scorekeeper.
Okay, this could be it. McGee is not going to get it off. He is brought down by who else? Adam Carricker. And congratulations to the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the 2006 Big 12 North champs. A seesaw game, and Bill Callahan's Cornhuskers, they end up on top. A heck of a game-winning drive to finish it off.
Now that was an ESPN instant classic right there. Very impressive.
Now Stacey Dales is standing by with some happy Huskers. Stacey, take it away.
Coach, with this win, you clinched the Big 12 North. What's the feeling for you right now?
Ecstatic. Just full of a lot of emotion. Really happy for our players. Zac Taylor and these kids, they just truly believed in getting the job done. Our defense blocking that field goal at the end was huge. We do it every day in practice. That's how we start the practice every day. That's how we concluded it today. So it was a great, great game on both sides.
You mentioned Zac Taylor. What does he mean to this program and how quickly he's taken over your offense?
He's been a tremendous leader for us, and he's rallied our kids, and our team totally believes in him in every phase. And I just can't say enough good things about the job he's done.
Congratulations, Coach. Back up to you, Eric.
Stacey, thank you so much. Yeah, Bill Callahan, he is a happy man tonight as he comes to Kyle Field for the very first time ever and comes away victorious. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are headed to KC as the Big 12 North champions.